Hi, Cory.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. You're save the best for last. Look at that.
Go Blue Sky.
Yes, I want to tell you a little story. When we bought our house about 26 years ago, there was, we found out later it was asbestos siding on the house. Oh. And we had a neighbor who said, oh, we had that too, and we had a crew come out and pull it down, but you risk, like, what's underneath it. Mm-hmm. So we had some beers. My neighbor Jack got a crowbar out and pulled one of the tiles down stupidly. He might have had a mask on, I don't know. And it was beautiful original clapboard. The house was built in like 1890. So we decided to take the risk, and we called a remediation company. I didn't even know who to call at the time. And they took down all the asbestos tile. Beautiful original clapboard. We only had 2 spots that we had to fix, so we were in luck. But now I'm looking, you do this type of thing. You weren't in business 20-some years ago. I didn't know who to call, but now you handle this and so much more.
Yeah, abatement and asbestos is an awesome topic. Let me dive into BluSky real quick. So we were opened in 2004, BluSky Restoration Contractors. We are a national restoration firm with over 60 locations, coast to coast, and we service restoration for the United States. Fire damage, water damage, mold, asbestos abatement. We answer the call to all the hurricanes. And the really cool thing about our national presence is that we've got national operations. And so we are ready to respond to any national emergency. Let me zoom in to Home Sweet Home Chicago, where I work at BluSky here in Chicago, where we've been for a very long time. I've worked at this building for 11 years, and we are the clear leader of restoration here in Chicago. But we want all of Chicago to know us and use us because, you may not have a restoration need right now, but you need to have a plan in place for when an event happens.
You will have need for it, for sure, at some point, unfortunately.
All properties will go through it at some point in time, whether it's a small fire or a water loss or sump pump failure or a sprinkler head. Believe me, we've seen it, and we're super busy. We're always busy. It doesn't have to rain, though that does make us busy. It's just that our friends and clients know who we are, and property damage is so prevalent that this is such a big industry, and we're a big company here to support. Let's dive into asbestos. So you dealt with an abatement 26 years ago, but let me tell you that even now, actually probably way more so now, asbestos is a huge concern and a huge topic because what do we know about asbestos? We know that it's poisonous to us humans. It can cause cancer. But let me give you the background of it. Asbestos is really a miracle mineral. It's a mineral that is in the earth. It's a natural mineral that you can mine by the metric ton from the earth. And it doesn't conduct electricity. It is flame retardant, so it's fireproof.
And that's why they went around and sold this paneling for houses.
Yeah. Because
it's like, oh, don't you want your house to look good and be fireproof?
Yeah.
And people bought it.
It's actually, it is miraculous what it could do. And then you can blend asbestos into other materials like drywall mud or paneling compounds. Like that panel wasn't 100% asbestos. It was a blend of some type. So when you blend it, you pick up these extra qualities like flame retardant and things. But now we know that asbestos is very toxic to the human body. It breaks down to microscopic fibers that get caught in your lungs, caught in your gut. Your body can't rid itself of it. So it is a very big concern. And over the last 70 years, we have been building with it continuously. So it's everywhere. Now, not to be too scary, it's not the end of the world, and asbestos in place is actually fine. But like in my realm, property damage has occurred. There's a wet wall. So now we know, okay, we need to dry the framing behind the wall. We need to poke some holes. But we need to know what those materials are because there's different procedures for when there's contaminants like asbestos, the way you contain it, negative air filtration, PPE for the crew. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing that BluSky has done is we've taken an approach of saying, hey, any time there's a restoration emergency, then there's going to be demolition of building materials removed. We need to do an asbestos test.
I bet you find asbestos at almost every place you go to.
It's so wild.
Yeah.
because we still find it now. We find it in homes built in 2020. We find it hidden in
Really?
drywall
I'm shocked
mud.
about that.
Still?
What's up with that?
It's so wild that we just keep finding it. It's not in your drywall and your finished flooring products or your tiles anymore, but it's still present, and it can be underneath those materials. You're moving hardwood floor, and below there, 9x9 tile.
Right.
That happened to my sister, and they said if you don't, you can leave it there and put a new floor over it. The problem is when you go to remove it, correct?
Yeah. That's when
the fibers are released and all that.
Stirring stuff up.
It's
But
called,
doesn't that make you nervous that it's underneath there?
Oh, yeah.
you
My
know,
brain.
Right.
Not necessarily. You don't have to go nuts and remove every asbestos-containing building material that's out there. It's just that you need to be extra cautious when you're performing restoration or construction that you know the materials that are present, you're not disturbing them. It's called friable when you break or you break into an asbestos-containing drywall mud or flooring material, and when it breaks, it becomes friable. That means those little minerals are coming up into the air. So, and that's when you can breathe it in or ingest it in your food or drink.
Yeah.
Wow.
All that being said, though, it's really not that bad. It's kind of easy to clean. There's certain methods of just containing the work area, isolating it, negative air pressure, PPE for the crew that's trained to work with the materials and the way you bag and dispose it. It's not overly complex, but it needs to be
You need a
handled
professional.
Absolutely.
It's
Call
not-
BluSky.
yes.